I had spent years building my dream. My tech startup idea was everything to me. I pictured its success, the way it would change things. Every spare dollar went into a special savings account. It was my future, carefully put away brick by brick. I worked long hours, often skipping simple joys, all for this one big goal. My heart was full of hope for what I was creating. Clara, my sister, knew every detail. We were close, or so I thought. I told her about my innovation, my financial plan, even the exact amount in my startup savings. She listened, always nodding, always seeming to understand. I trusted her completely, sharing my deepest hopes and fears. She was my confidante, my biggest cheerleader in this journey. Clara and her husband, Mark, offered to help. They said they were excited for me. Mark, with his business background, offered to look over some of my contracts. Clara suggested she could help me organize my digital files. Their support felt genuine, a warm blanket around my ambition. I gave them access to documents, thinking it would make things easier. Then I started noticing small things. A few $100s missing here, an odd transaction there. My online bank statement showed tiny withdrawals I didn't remember. It was never much, just enough to make me pause. I brushed it off, thinking I had simply forgotten. Maybe it was a bank fee or a small personal expense I'd overlooked. Still, a tiny unease settled in my stomach. I called Clara. I mentioned the strange amounts, trying to sound casual. She laughed it off. "Oh, Anya, banks make mistakes all the time," she said. "Or maybe you lent me a little something and forgot. Just small amounts, you know." Her voice was light, reassuring. I wanted to believe her, so I did. I pushed the nagging feeling away. The email arrived on a Tuesday morning. Insufficient funds. It was for the final payment on my patent application, a critical step for my startup. My breath hitched. This wasn't a small amount. This was a payment I had planned for months. My hands trembled as I opened my banking app. This couldn't be right. Panic set in. I scrolled through my account history, my heart pounding. The small discrepancies were just the beginning. Huge sums, thousands of dollars, had vanished. My life savings, the money for my startup, was almost gone. My vision, my future, felt like it was crumbling. I felt cold, a deep dread washing over me. I drove straight to Clara's house. Mark was there too. I showed them my bank statement, my voice shaking. "It's gone," I whispered. They looked at the screen, then at each other. Clara's eyes widened in feigned shock. Mark put his arm around her. "Anya, how could you accuse us?" he said, his voice full of outrage. They acted as if I had deeply offended them. As Mark spoke, I watched Clara. Her eyes, usually so expressive, were strangely blank. A cold certainty began to form in my mind. It wasn't just a mistake or a bank error, it was them. My sister, the one I trusted with everything, had taken my money. The realization hit me like a physical blow. The trust I had in her shattered into a million pieces. Later, alone in my quiet apartment, I stared at the depleted bank statement on my screen. The numbers mocked me. It wasn't just money they had stolen. It was my dream, my future. Clara's support now felt like a meticulously laid trap, designed to empty my accounts and crush my spirit. My sister had betrayed me, and I knew with a chilling certainty that I would find a way to make her pay. I was scrolling through my news feed, trying to distract myself from the emptiness in my bank account. Then I saw it. A headline flashed across the screen. "Innovate Hub launches revolutionary tech platform." My heart stopped. The description, the features, it was my startup. My idea, my vision, presented by Clara and Mark. A cold dread seeped into my bones. I found a way to attend their launch event, hidden in the back of the room. I watched Clara and Mark on stage, smiling, accepting praise. They spoke about their innovative concept, using my exact phrases, my unique selling points. A wave of nausea hit me, followed by a burning, icy rage. They were stealing my future, right in front of my eyes. The next day, I made calls. I reached out to a forensic accountant and a private investigator. My voice was calm, but inside, I felt a desperate urgency. I needed proof. I needed to trace every dollar, every document. This wasn't just about my money anymore. It was about exposing a deep, calculated betrayal. Weeks later, the reports came in. The forensic accountant's findings were stark. My life savings, every last penny, had been systematically moved. The trail led directly to accounts used to fund Innovate Hub. The investigator confirmed their intellectual property theft, showing how my designs and plans had been copied. It was all there, in black and white. The confirmation hit me harder than I expected. It was one thing to suspect, another to see the cold, hard proof. My own sister had not only stolen my money, but my entire dream. The weight of this double betrayal crushed me. I felt a deep ache, a sense of loss that went beyond finances. It was a loss of trust, of family, of my very identity. Then their public attacks started. Articles appeared online, whispers spread through my professional network. Clara and Mark painted me as unstable, jealous, a disgruntled family member trying to undermine their success. They twisted my past words, my struggles, into a narrative of my supposed unreliability. It felt like they were trying to erase me. The smear campaign worked. My reputation, once solid, was in tatters. Former colleagues avoided my calls. Investors who had shown interest in my original concept now looked away. I felt utterly alone, isolated by their lies. The humiliation was a constant, burning pain, making it hard to even leave my apartment. Through a friend, I found a lawyer specializing in intellectual property and financial fraud. Her name was Ms. Davies. I sat in her office, my voice steady as I laid out the impossible situation. She listened without judgment, her gaze mysterious. It felt like a tiny spark of hope in a vast darkness. Ms. Davies explained the uphill battle. Family cases were messy, intellectual property theft hard to prove without perfect documentation, and my depleted funds made legal action difficult. It was a long, complex fight, she warned. But as she spoke, a strange calm settled over me. Despair began to transform into a cold, hard determination. I would not give up. I went home and started. Every old email, every design document, every financial record I could find. I organized them meticulously, turning my personal devastation into a calculated pursuit of justice. I had lost everything, but I would not lose my resolve. Clara and Mark had stolen my dream, but I would systematically dismantle their stolen empire. I felt a shift inside me. The despair was gone, replaced by a cold, steady resolve. Ms. Davies and I began our work. It wasn't just about getting my money back. It was about showing the world what Clara and Mark had done. I knew this would be a long fight, but I was ready. This was my comeback, and it started now. My first move was quiet. I crafted anonymous emails, sending carefully chosen details to tech journalists. I spoke of a mysteriously disappeared startup, one with ideas strikingly similar to Innovate Hub. I didn't mention names. I just planted the seeds of doubt, watching them take root in the online world. The game had begun. Soon the articles started appearing. Questions were asked. Clara and Mark's faces, once so confident, began to show strain in their public appearances. I saw it in their hurried answers, the way they avoided direct eye contact. Their perfect facade was starting to crack, and a small part of me felt a cold satisfaction. It was just the beginning. Amidst the growing whispers, a lifeline appeared. An investor, someone who had seen my initial pitches, reached out. He believed in my original vision, recognizing its true potential. His support was a powerful boost, providing not just funds for my legal fight, but resources to truly relaunch my real startup. It felt like the universe was finally aligning in my favor. The courtroom was a sterile, unforgiving place. MS. Davies presented our evidence. Every bank statement, every email, every design document. The meticulous work I had done paid off. Clara and Mark sat across the room, their expressions hardening as the undeniable truth unfolded before the judge. It felt like years of pain were being laid bare for all to see. The media caught hold of the story. The truth, once hidden, was now out for everyone to see. Public opinion shifted dramatically. Clara and Mark, once hailed as innovators, were now scorned as fraudsters. I saw comments online, heard news reports. Their carefully built empire was crumbling under the weight of their own deceit. I felt a quiet sense of vindication. While their world fell apart, mine was being rebuilt. My original startup concept, now refined and stronger with new insights, began to gain real traction. Investors flocked, customers signed up. It wasn't just a comeback, it was a testament to my true vision. I felt a surge of pride, knowing this success was purely my own, built on honesty and innovation. The day the verdict came down, I felt a strange mix of relief and emptiness. The court ruled emphatically in my favor. Restitution, damages, full intellectual property rights, everything was mine again. Clara and Mark were ordered to pay. It was a victory, but the cost, the betrayal, still lingered, a phantom ache. Their company, Innovate Hub, collapsed swiftly. The scandal, the legal fees, the irreparable damage to their reputations, it was too much. They lost everything they had stolen and more. I heard they were struggling, facing financial ruin. It was the consequence of their choices, a bitter harvest of their deceit, and I felt nothing but a cold finality. Now I stand in my own thriving company, my dream fully realized. The taste of justice is sweet, powerful. Clara lost everything she stole, and I reclaimed not just my dream, but my very future. The betrayal cut deep, a wound that will always be there. But I survived it. I didn't just get my life back. I rebuilt it stronger without them. They thought they could erase me, but I became unforgettable.